And here it, wow, that reloaded really quickly. Usually it takes forever for the new overlay, the updated overlay. Here we go. The Story of the Treasure Seekers by E. Nesbit. And I shall find out more about it before we do the next reading, but not now. It says here, the Treasure Seekers is dedicated in memory of childhoods, identical, but for the accidents of time and space. And it says, being the adventures of the Bastable children in search of a fortune. Here we go. When we get past the listing of chapters. Chapter 1, Council of Ways and Means. Now, the last story we had by Edith Nesbit, was The Railway Children, and that's a single story. It's a standalone story. Otherwise, I would have read you more about them. So we're going to start with this new story by the same author, probably set in the same sort of time period, but I'm not sure. Chapter 1, The Council of Ways and Means. This is the story of the different ways we looked for treasure, and I think when you have read it, you will see that we were not lazy about the looking. So it sounds like it's told in first person. There are some things I must tell you before I begin to tell about the treasure seeking, because I have read books myself and I know how beastly it is when a story begins, "Alas," said Hildegard with a deep sigh, "we must look our last on this ancestral home," and then someone else says something and you don't know for pages and pages where the home is or who Hildegard is or anything about it. Our ancestral home is in the Lewisham Road. It is semi-detached and has a garden, not a large one. We are the Bastables. There are 6 of us besides Father. Our mother is dead, and if you think we don't care because I don't tell you much about her, you only show that you do not understand people at all. Dora is the eldest, then Oswald, and then Dicky. Oswald won the Latin prize at his prep school, and Dicky is good at sums. Alice and Noel are twins, they are 10, and Horace Octavius is my youngest brother. It is one of us that tells this story, but I shall not tell you which. Only at the very end, perhaps I will. While the story is going on, you may be trying to guess, only I bet you don't. It was Oswald who first thought of looking for treasure. Oswald often thinks of very interesting things, and directly he thought of it, he did not keep it to himself, as some boys would have done, but he told the others and said, "I'll tell you what, we must go and seek for treasure. It is always what you do to restore the fallen fortunes of your house." Dora said it was all very well. She often says that. She was trying to mend a large hole in one of Noel's stockings. He tore it on a nail when we were playing shipwrecked mariners on top of the chicken house the day H.O. fell off and cut his chin. That's Horace Octavius, by the way. He has the scar still. Dora is the only one of us who ever tries to mend anything. Alice tries to make things sometimes. Once she knitted a red scarf for Noel because his chest is delicate, but it was much wider at one end than the other, and he wouldn't wear it. So we used it as a pennon. That's like a specialised, a tapered triangle flag that's used sometimes at the top of masts or on flagpoles. So we used it as a pennon. Now I need to find where that word was. There it is. And it did very well because most of our things are black or grey since Mother died, and scarlet was a nice change. Father does not like you to ask for new things. That was one way we had of knowing that the fortunes of the ancient house of Bastable were really fallen. Another way was that there was no more pocket money, except a penny now and then to the little ones, and people did not come to dinner any more like they used to, with pretty dresses, driving up in cabs, and the carpets got holes in them, and when the legs came off things they were not sent to be mended, and we gave up having the gardener except for the front garden, and not that very often, and the silver in the big oak plate chest that is lined with green baize all went away. I'll try that one again. And the silver in the big oak plate chest that is lined with green baize all went away to the shop to have the dents and scratches taken out of it, and never came back. So, a plate chest is a place you store your silver plate. That's stuff that's made with silver. Once upon a time it would have been plates, but sometimes silver plate is also things that are made with silver coating on a base metal. And green baize is kind of like a felty sort of a surface, and it is slightly padded, and it also has a soundproofing effect slightly, I think. They used to talk about a green baize door in some houses, which was between where the people who lived in the house, people who owned the house, and the servants lived, and it was the door between the two sections. So you can look